First off, so we did film most of this in 4K, but I'm going to be delivering it in 1080. So the reason for that is, I mean, it's nice to be kind of future proof, but then even if with that in mind, if we never give them anything that's 4K, it basically gave us the option to almost have two cameras in one, because we can crop in, just like you can do with a photo. We have the ability then to crop in to the video, so we can, have a closer shot, or if the photographer got in the shot or something, we can work around that. So everything's pretty much in 4K, but we're going to deliver in a 1080 timeline. So I basically have everything kind of set up here already. So we went on and already imported it, but before I had all this in here, we essentially just had these folders. Now, when I'm doing like a full short film, there might be some more folders, or if like we're doing a commercial job, there might be more. But this pretty much gets the job done for a same day edit. So the first thing we'll bring in is our assets, which is usually the music, our logo we already bring in, and then we usually deliver the film in like a 2:3:5, whatever, like the aspect ratio. So essentially it's like the black bars. So we have that in there, so then we can like visualize what it's going to look like when we make it look wider than it actually is. So we'll bring that in there too. And then we have the audio, which we only had one microphone because the other microphone was running through the camera. So this was actually the Efficience mic. So we have that in there. And then we have basically a backup track. So the Tascam that I use does 2 channels. So it does one version that's like the normal level, and then it does another version that's like negative 20 dB quieter. So just in case, like all of a sudden they get like really close to the microphone and they're like peaking the microphone, I have another file that I could use that will sound good. Then we have the footage. So we just did it by camera. If it was like a full short film, I'd probably get more detailed on how I'm labeling these, but I just did it by camera for now. So we have the 3 cameras that we had, plus we did drone stuff yesterday, so we're going to utilize some of that. And then we have the sequences. So for the same day edit, I usually have a sequence for the ceremony, which I'm going to drag all the ceremony stuff into, and then I'm going to sync it using Pluralize. And then I have the establishing, the letters, the photo session, the prep, and then a sequence for the short film itself. So the reason why I have all these, so the short film will be our final timeline, but what I'm going to do before then is I'm going to pull out selects. So essentially I'm going to go through, and even though like we shot it pretty cleanly, there's still going to be like maybe those times where like I bumped the camera, or like maybe it wasn't the right take, and I'm going to go through everything, and I'm just going to make sure I'm getting like the best of the best kind of laid out for myself. And then I'll pull those into the short film once they're kind of organized. So we will start with the ceremony. And I'm going to try to remember if I ever use any shortcuts that I tell you what buttons I'm pressing, just so you guys know too. So what I'm looking to do is to find all of my ceremony stuff. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. So these actually kind of change the way you're looking. So like this is just if you're just wanting to get a quick bird's eye view. This is also really helpful for proxies, because what I'll do with proxies is, I don't know how often you guys have done proxies, but if they're different frame rates, Premiere can get kind of confused. So then when you get your proxy back, it made the proxy in like a 24 frame sequence, but it's a 120 frame sequence like the real clip is. So when you're going through and you're playing it and you're looking at the proxy, it looks one way, but then when you turn the proxy off, it's like in a totally different part of the clip. So what I usually do is I will organize everything by frame rate here, and then that way I can just grab like all of my 24 frame stuff, run a proxy of that, and then I'll move on to like the 119, do a proxy of that. My 60 frames, I'll do a proxy of that, just so it's, I'm making sure that it's doing it correctly. So proxies are basically like a lower resolution version of your footage. So what Premiere will do, actually, let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and run. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, I'm going to go to proxies, create proxy. And I have these templates I made. So going back to the whole template thing, instead of me having to make this every single time, I have these saved, and I just have one called the name of the camera and 24 frames. So they're QuickTime. Now, if I didn't have this made, I would need to make one. So what I usually do is I do QuickTime, and then I do ProRes, low resolution. So what it's basically going to do is it's going to make a duplicate of this file, but it's only going to be like 720p, like super low resolution. And it's going to be like just a super compressed file. but Premiere knows that it's connected to that file. So when I go and do this, which I'll do right now, but essentially what it's going to do, it's going to render this file out now as a lower resolution version of it. So it's rendering right now. And it's usually pretty quick as long as you have a decent speed computer. So now it's made this proxy file. So now if I bring this proxy file in here, I'll keep that the same. And then, okay, so this little button right here turns proxies on and off. So right now the proxy's off. It's playing okay, like it's not bad. But now if I turn the proxy on, it should be like super smooth. So I can like jump around and it's like totally fine. It's like playing back fine. And it is a lower resolution, but it's like, it's not that bad. Like I can still easily edit with this. It's not like I can't tell what I'm looking at anymore.
Just like that. And then I'm going to have you go from...
So yeah, that's pretty much what it does. So I actually do that, even though this is a pretty decent computer, I still usually just make a bunch of proxies every time I do a project, because the way I look at it is if it's not like something we're in a hurry to do, usually I have like a night where I could just like set up a render to do all the proxies, and it just does it overnight. And then when I'm ready to start the project the next day or the next week or whatever it is, this is all made, and it's just going to be so much easier for me to edit as opposed to like loading, waiting for it to buffer, all that kind of stuff. So. So it actually gives you the option to do that. So like, let's go and do another one. So I'm going to do create proxy, and you get to choose right here. So right now I have them going to their own folder, but I could also just save it next to the original media. So when I do that one, what it will do is it's going to basically make a folder right next to all that raw footage called like proxy or something like that. And then all of that's going to be right there. So I think did it already finish? Wow. So they were pretty short clips. So this wasn't like a full ceremony or anything.
I'm going to have you look down.
So yeah, the proxy's all there.
But I don't see it differently.
Yeah, that's what's great about it is it really doesn't make too much of a difference. So like if you see me scrubbing through.
The file, like in the monitor, the other.
Right here?
Yeah. What is it, the project?
Yeah, so Premiere is smart enough to know that it's not like a separate file you need. So actually in my files right now, there is actually a separate, see I made this folder right here called proxies. And so here's all my proxies, which I could actually open. Maybe. I don't know if it'll actually play through that. So it made the separate file, this like kind of small separate file. But Premiere knows that it's not like, hey, I need to totally import this new clip. It knows that it's connected to this other clip. So what it's essentially doing is it's connecting to the raw footage. So when you're ready to export, you can just like turn that button off and everything's going to be the raw footage.
So technically, I would still be using the same file.
Mm-hmm.
I would think it'd be the same file.
Yeah.
But it's the proxy that I'm working with.
Correct, yeah. So inside of Premiere, you're just working with the proxy.
I have to remember to push that button when I render.
I think actually, Chris, maybe you know for sure too. I think it actually still will render the raw footage when you render.
So it's not through that. That's fine.
Yeah.
When you export it, the little page that comes up when you press Control-M, at the bottom it says use proxies, or leave it unchecked, it will leave the original file.
Okay.
If you check use proxies, it'll export the proxies.
That's what I thought. And what he's talking about, let me go to real quick. Yeah, right here. So as long as this is unclicked, it won't matter because we won't use proxies. Yeah. So as long as that is not clicked, it doesn't matter if this is on or off.
Oh.
So you could.
It doesn't matter with the final rendering.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I thought. I just want to make sure. So.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that.
So we'll grab all the ceremony. So the way I would normally set that up is, let me get here where I can see the thumbnails. So our gimbal was kind of like our wide shot. So I'm going to put that one at the bottom. So I'm going to drag all of that camera in. And actually, a lot of times I have this even more organized, but since it's technically for a same day edit, we're a little sloppier. But like what I actually end up doing is I usually make folders for different parts of the day. So like if say like the ceremony, I'll do like camera 1 ceremony, camera 2 ceremony. So then actually what I could just do is just drag the whole folder in instead of having to try to find the clips. But just for the sake of this, since technically we're doing a same day edit, we probably wouldn't have done that. So
How much time does it usually take you for your entire organization process before you get started?
on like a normal wedding, it's probably like a good hour maybe, because I usually, so I already usually have everything imported, so I back up everything the night before, so it's not including the backup. And actually I usually have folders already made for that wedding, because most of the time we're using like the same cameras. So I have these empty folders that I've made inside of like my Windows Media or Windows window or whatever. So I have all these like pre-made folders here. Let me pull this up. So typically these are already made. So like, and I have these blank, and I could just copy and paste them every time I do a wedding, instead of me having to go in there and be like A6600 next, drone next, and it saves a ton of time. And actually inside of this folder, I usually have a few more folders too. So like I'll have a renders folder, I'll have like a sound effects folder, and I just keep it all very well organized. And I have all these as blank folders. So what I could essentially do is I can just copy those over every time that I do this, and then I don't have to worry about like typing it out every time.
I think in Premiere, can't you create like your bin structure and save it as a template?
Yeah, you can do that too.
Which is basically the same thing he's doing.
Yeah, the only reason, so I used to do it in Premiere sometimes. The only reason I do it usually inside of Windows is, one, if I'm having someone editing with me, we're consistent with each other as far as our folder structure. So if we need to reconnect things, it's not going to like confuse Premiere too much. And the second thing is, what I've kind of found is, once you start filling this full, like we even kind of saw it for a short period of time, once you start filling this very full of clips, kind of takes it a second to like buffer it. Like even that one, like right this one especially, it's gonna need like a minute or so to kind of load everything. Whereas inside of Windows, it's usually pretty snappy at like showing me what I want to look at. Like they're already like pretty much loading for me right there. Yeah. So that's the main reason why. But whenever I do smaller projects, I just organize it inside of Premiere, just because I'm already going to be in there anyhow. So, all right. And then let me grab the other clips. So this was our second camera. This was basically the groom camera. So I'll drag that one in there. And then our main camera was on the bride. And that starts, let's find that. I think right here, yeah. So we'll drag all that in. And then we did have an audio track as well. So we'll drag that in too. Have any of you used Polarize? Are you familiar with Polarize?
Like 10 years ago. I'm surprised you're still around. That's why when you said that.
It's gotten a lot better. Yeah. So Premiere actually has extensions for this. So you do have to pay for Polarize. It's not like included with Premiere or anything. It is a third-party software. Essentially what it does is it syncs your footage for you. And what's great is they have a plugin with Premiere, so you don't even have to leave Premiere to use their software. I have a few other extensions too. Extensions are a good way to kind of save time, because if you don't have the extension, what you normally have to do is you have to like export out your project, bring it into a separate software, pluralize, do all these things back and forth. I also use Soundstripe a lot for music, so I actually have their extension too. So I basically have Soundstripe built into my Premiere. So if I need to find like a music track or a sound effect real quick, I don't have to like go to their website, go find it, import it into Premiere. I just literally go into Premiere, I search for like, birds chirping, and then it just drags it automatically into Premiere. So yeah, all I'm going to do is press this button, and then we're going to wait, and it's going to sync, and hopefully it works for my example. Otherwise, it's going to look really bad for their company, but because sometimes it doesn't work. And actually, we did have one camera filming in 30 frames, whereas the other two were 24. So there is a chance it might get confused. So we'll see what happens. Normally, 2 ceremonies are a lot longer than this. So I would probably have, a lot longer of a wait. So while this is going, I would be doing like something else, like going through the footage and organizing the other footage, or preparing like the reception for syncing. All right, let's see how it did. All right, I don't think it did perfect, but it was close. Now, this is like kind of more like short film level stuff. Now, when we do a same day edit, we actually usually don't even do the syncing. I just thought it would be nice to show you guys. But normally with the same day edit, we're just kind of grabbing the clips we need from the ceremony and calling it a day, because even though this wasn't too time consuming, it's still just something where, it's going to eat up a lot of time that we might need to focus on something else. So now how I would so let's say this actually synced perfectly. We'll just pretend. What I would then do is I would find this in my sequence. So we got it right here. And I'm going to drag this here. So now I basically put it all inside of one sequence as like one clip, essentially. And then I'm going to turn it into a multicam. So I'm going to right click, multicam, enable.
What do you mean gonna turn it into
So now I'm basically like a live mixer, so I can cut between my different clips.
Oh.
So I can either like click, and it'll do it in real time, like I'm editing. So then I'll stop. So as you can see, it made those edits while I was going along. You can also like use your keyboard, so you can do like 1, 2, and go back and forth between the two things.
Oh, so it's kind of like
That's cool.
cutting and putting those parts of the clips that it plays into.
Yeah, and then if you want to, so I usually will not include the audio in the multicam because I'd rather just mix the audio in here so I can kind of raise and lower things. But if it was more of like a clean, like the audio needs to change when the video changes, you can actually include your audio in the multicam too. So like when I'm here, let's say like this is linked to channel 1 of my audio, then it's going to change to channel 1. And then when we get to here, it's going to change to channel 2 audio, and it'll mix the audio with the video. I don't do that for weddings because I would rather, do it myself. But it is a possibility, like if you're just doing something quick. Yeah.
Would it be like, say, in a sense, it creates jump shots so that,
Yeah.
like if you were like, yes I am, no I'm not, yes I am, no.
Yeah. And say like,
taking the audio with it.
yeah, so say like camera 2 was your audio, like you had a microphone on and that was camera 2, and say I was camera 1 and I had a microphone on, it would be switching them between our two microphones.
Is this a live stream thing?
No, this is just built into Premiere. So I'll show you again. So basically what you're wanting to do is,
So it's kind of syncing with your equipment, how you have it set up.
yeah.
And then you have the 1 and the 2. It's labeled that way. Like, how does your program know that that's camera 1, camera 2?
It's just however I dragged it in here. So I just have my own kind of habits from doing this so long. So I usually put the wide shot on the bottom because that's always kind of the safety shot. I usually put whatever was like the groom shot as number 2. I'll put the bride shot as number 1. And then normally we have 4 cameras. So then camera 4 will be kind of like the floating camera, like maybe the camera getting reactions or creative shots. And it's just muscle memory for me at this point. So then I know like, okay, 1 is going to be the wide, 2 is going to be like the groom, 3 is the bride, 4 is
So
like,
it's tracked out.
yeah. But you can do it any like positioning you
So
want.
that's what you're saying when you say camera 1, camera 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So that we would do that. But for this sake, we won't get too much into that just because it'll take time. So let's, I just want to make sure I didn't skip anything before I get to selects. Let me just double check here.
But it's sort of, you could also do that multicam, and then Premiere has a multi.
Yeah.
But you think the pluralize?
Oh, so that is Premiere. That's Premiere's multicam. So I use Pluralize for the syncing, which Premiere does have syncing. I don't know if it's gotten better, but I tried using it when it first came out and it was really bad. So maybe it's better now. But the multicam is just Premiere. So Pluralize essentially, and that's what I was kind of talking about the extension. It's so seamless that it almost seems like I didn't even like leave Premiere, or like, is this still Pluralize? Like, it's very seamless, which is nice. But essentially the only part that's pluralized is the syncing of the footage and making sure like my audio matches my video and it's not all out of sync. And then everything else is still just Premiere. So I use Premiere for like the multicam and everything. So yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'll do it again. So I would find my sequence that I want to turn into a multicam, which is the ceremony sequence. I'm going to pull it into here. That's like a new, it's basically it's gonna nest it. So now it's like all one clip. And then I'm going to right click it, hit multicam, enable. And then if I just turn on the little multicam button right here, the one that has like, it's like 4 little screens and a big screen. I now have my multicam and we'll have the 2 shots.
Even though you have one sequence.
Correct, yeah. There is another way you can edit multicam footage, but I think it takes longer, and I've seen people do it where you would be inside of here, and then when you're not wanting to show a clip, you would just like delete it. But to me, like that just gets like really messy because it's like, you know, and then if you need to make it, say you like made a mistake or that the client requested a revision, now you got to like maybe like drag this back out, and you know, it's just. It becomes more difficult to work with and complicated, and especially if you're working with like a team. Now, like this person has all these like crazy edits and stuff, whereas if someone just handed me this and it had like some cuts, you know, throughout, it's very easy for me to find everything. And what's actually really great is whenever I had to have people edit stuff for me, sometimes maybe they were on, say, this shot, you know, of the groom, and I was like, oh, that shot doesn't make sense for right now. I can easily make a change to their edit like this. Whereas if they didn't do the multicam, I would have had to like go into this, figure out where it was, delete what they did. You know, like it's more work. Whereas this is like simply just a button press, and all of a sudden we're using the right clip.
It's right here, just take out right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so to get this, you have to use pluralize first.
You don't have to use pluralize. We're using pluralize to sync it. So you could make a multicam. Like let's say you had a super simple project.
Well, I mean, like keeping it like all in one sequence. That's not the other version that you had where it's like every track is laid out and like you're sifting through and trying to link them all.
Yeah.
In
So
order to do that one that you're just showing us, I'm just confirming clarity.
yeah. So I'll kind of back up here. So this is before pluralize. So I have all my clips in here, but they're totally out of sync. So it's like, okay, he's not looking at a phone. He's looking at a phone. Well, actually, those two are kind of close, which is kind of funny. But essentially, everything is out of sync right now. Oh, yeah, you can tell, like, her hand's, like, kind of more up, whereas it's more, like, on her face, that one. And the audio is probably, like, if I play this, it's going to sound like a jumbled mess. There's all, like, come from all places. So the only thing I use pluralize for is to get all of this lined up with each other. So that way, like, you know, all the clips are like synced with each other. So that way, like, you know,
So it finds all the similarities that match.
Yep. Yeah, because otherwise what you would have to do is I would have to maybe like look at this one clip here.
I'm still doing it like that. Like I gotta find it where she breaks, like when you want to do that in motion action where
Yeah.
they're moving in this moment, like right here, and you want to cut right there, but then it's like the next scene.
Yeah.
Going into
So like he's like fixing his mustache. So now I would have to find in this clip where he's fixing his mustache, you know, and then click on that and then like move them together. And so pluralize is basically saving that process. So it's not perfect like we just saw, but part of that was my fault because I filmed something in a different frame rate. So that's the only caveat is you definitely want to make sure everything is the same frame rate because it can get really confused if like one thing is 60 frames, one thing's 24 frames, and then it has a hard time. You also want to make sure your cameras are recording audio. Even if you're not going to use the audio, that audio really helps pluralize because one time I had a camera like the audio was turned off. So it had a hard time figuring out where that clip lined up. So we'll go ahead and start going through some of the prep. Let me get all these open. Actually, you know what? We'll do letters because typically what I would do is I would start with the narrative before I even start with the visual stuff. So I'm going to be looking for those sound bites that I want to use for the video to kind of drive the video. And then I fill that in with visuals. So the main narrative we have is we had the couple do letters. And just so you know, too, because I know you weren't there for the shooting, we actually had one of the other models write the letters for them. so they didn't even know what they were going to be reading before they read them. So it was kind of fun.
Great.
That's all right.
They did a really good job of it.
Really good job. We like ask a lot of our models, they writers,
think this is
Oh,
his.
so you just recreated like a regular wedding how you would normally have.
Already?
Yep.
Okay. Phase up.
So I'm gonna just grab everything for right now. Some from where he begins to where he ends. I'm just gonna drag it in, and then we'll find the parts that we like the most. They were short, so we could probably just use the whole letter, really. But most letters are like 5 minutes long, and we don't want the whole thing.
Phase on. Since the day I first met you and you made me laugh so effortlessly, I knew you were someone special. As our love grew, your never-ending support and encouragement to pursue my dreams made it clear you are the one. I am still looking forward to marrying my very best friend and can't wait to make a lifetime of memories, love, and laughter with you, Deja.
Beautiful.
That should be how we end the video, actually.
Felt that one. Probably enjoyed reading some of this.
Also, I didn't talk about labeling. So I do label things by color too. So that helps a lot. I have my own system. It's kind of what you prefer to, but I'll do bride prep. Typically, I'll do bride prep as, hold on a second. Okay, this is the gimbal. So bride prep, I'll do as like a pinkish color. I know it's like totally stereotypical, but it just helps me. So I'll do that as like a pink. So like there's like a rose. And then for the groom, I'll do his prep as like blue, which I think there's an actual blue. And then anything with the two of them, I usually do like purple because I figured pink and blue together is kind of a purple color. So that's how I come up with that. So we'll just, I'm not going to do everything, but just so you guys can kind of see like what I would do. And then this is also the two of them. So we'll do that as purple. And then stuff like, say, establishing shots, I'll just do like yellow or something. So now you can already kind of see what's starting to happen. They're going to be colors. So when this gets like loaded with footage, I can easily be like, that's prep, that's establishing shots, that's this, that's that. And it really doesn't take much time. I mean, I was doing it kind of awkwardly right there, but even normally it's like super, super fast. So let's find her clip.
Deja, I have been waiting for this day since I first saw you. When you walk in, there is a joy about you, a beauty so striking that your smile lights up the whole room. When I look into your eyes, I can see our future family. You are my home, and I can't wait for you to be my wife. See you at the altar. Oh, that's so sweet. Deja.
So this was supposed to take place before their ceremony. So it's like they're reading these before they see each other. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I always thought they were like reading their letter that they wrote to their
No, they were reading each other's, which it can be kind of confusing when it's just a phone, because typically what we do is we would get shots of like the envelope, and a lot of times the envelope says like to, so-and-so, and then it's like, okay, that's a guy's name, so he's opening her letter to him, and like it kind of makes more sense. For this, they were just using a phone, so it's a little confusing, but it got the job done, I guess. So we'll pull those over.
No, it's a good question because you kind of do it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're
kind
okay.
of do it both ways. And it's makes it like yeah.
So we typically with the same day edit, all this is kind of laid out. So we've already picked the music. We have like, the color correction ready. All that stuff is like pretty much ready to go. So we don't have to worry about that like during the wedding. Cause I don't know about you guys, but it takes me like hours to find music. So I even end up changing the music like right before we started the class. Cause I'm like, I don't know if I want that one anymore. So we always try to have this done ahead of time. And then we actually will mark what scenes we think are going to happen when. So if you press M, it brings up this little marker, and then you can go right click, edit marker. And then let's say this is where I want the letters to start. I can put letters. And then, like if this is something else, it's something else or whatever. This is a little trick too. So we're delivering in 1080, but this is 4K, as you can see, since we're like super close to his face. So I added a shortcut button. Normally what you have to do is you have to right click, scale to frame size, and now we're the right size. But what I end up doing is I added a shortcut and I just put it to F2. You could make it any key. So then I just push F2 instead of me having to do the right click, scale to frame. And then you can also do them both at the same time. So let's say I actually want it to be closer than this. I can scale both of them at the same time because they're both highlighted, and then I can scale them back. What you can also do is if you think you're going to need this to zoom in or something, you can go to like your effects control. And instead of doing the scale to frame, I can just scale it down like you would like a photo or something. So I could even do like a push in. So like if I wanted to set a keyframe, if you push this little stopwatch, and then I'll jump ahead a little bit, and then say we'll scale it up like to 58. Now it'll do like a slight little, like kind of move that's like, it's not in camera. It's not as nice as doing it in camera, but if we just wanted to build a little bit of that like tension, it's a way to do it. Like I'd probably make it a lot slower and more drawn out. So like, it's like very subtle, but it's like still there that we're kind of moving in type thing. So.
Let me stop here.
Mhm.
You found the letters and everything, and then you said, all right, I'm going to drag this in.
Mm-hmm.
What were you dragging it from to?
I just had it in a different sequence.
Okay. So that's how you broke up sequences.
And you could
I've
also
always done everything in one sequence, so different sequences is something new to me.
Yeah, and you can even do this. You can have like kind of two windows. So I could literally have all my selects in here, and then inside of, where's my short film? So I could just be like dragging them in here as I'm going. The way I did it is actually even a little slower because I had to like cut. What was that again?
How did you make it too?
You just pick it up, and that's the great thing about Premiere is you can literally just like drag windows wherever you want. So if I wanted to put it like up here, if I wanted to put it over here, you just click it and you just start dragging it around, and you can drop it really anywhere. I could even, like, if I had this set up as like a dual screen setup, like I could pick this up and drag it to the other screen, and have like one screen dedicated to like viewing and one screen dedicated to editing.
And then
So-
you drop into the other timeline.
Mm-hmm. Just want to make sure that's yeah. I was just making sure that was still going. So I'm glad you got it because that thing was bothering the heck out of me. So one thing we're not just like looking to drop audio wherever. I'm also like kind of listening for sound bites that align with things. So we don't have a lot to work with because we didn't do a ton with them, but like kind of a good example is like with the dad of the bride, there's a lot of things you can kind of like pull away from that, especially if she's very close or he's like a very emotional guy. And so what I'm looking for is like his speech, for example. If he says something like, just like something like the first time I saw her, she was my princess or whatever, like something like that, then I'm going to maybe have that audio playing with like him seeing her for the first time in the dress. And then like maybe we like cut it a certain way or we shot it a certain way where it frames up well, where all of a sudden like, he's walking her down the aisle now. And then it's like going to their first dance. And then we come back to they're speaking. And so I'm looking for little things like that. So she said something about, in his letter, he says something about like seeing her at the end of the aisle, I think.
Oh, that's so
Yeah, and in the altar. So what I would do is kind of make a mental note of that. And like maybe I'll use that then when she starts walking. Because these little things are kind of what makes the film emotional. So otherwise it's just kind of like a hodgepodge of like cool shots and here's some audio. But what I'm looking for are those pain points because that's what's going to hit the couple. Because I mean, they're gonna be in love because they're seeing themselves, from their wedding. But when they hear themselves like kind of talking about the thing they're seeing, then it's like it all becomes like kind of full picture. And then you mix in a little bit of sound design where like maybe you kind of like hear the natural response of the groom when he saw her for the first time, or like you hear like the footsteps of her walking, or the sound effects of like the church outside or the hotel outside. Then it just like it makes it like a whole thing instead of just like a music video with cool shots. So I don't know where that would go. Like maybe usually for the walk, I try to find like a very calm area. So that would probably be like right here. So this is like where she'd be walking. So then maybe, I don't know, like the music gets a little intense here, but let's see if it.
Your eyes, I can see our future family. You are my home, and I can't wait for you to be my wife. See you at the altar.
So I need to move that a little bit more.
At the altar. Oh, that's so sweet. See you at the altar. Oh, that's so sweet. Faison.
And I don't think we need to hear his name, so I'd probably like get rid of that too. So then we're starting to kind of set up scenes. So like I know at this point I'm going to be showing her walking down the aisle, and I'm totally like going like non-linear with the way I'm laying out things, even though the film might be linear itself, just because certain things like come together before other things. So like that just like was a piece that went together really well. So I already know now, okay, this is all going to be ceremony. And then like this might be like their vows or something, or maybe like I don't even need that part and I end up just like getting rid of it, and then that's like the end of the film. So
The only videographer.
So when we do the same day edits, there's 3 of us. Normally on like a normal wedding, there's at least 2 of us. So I mean, I've shot weddings by myself, but I try to start them with 2 because the kind of like product that usually couples are wanting require 2 people. Like it's not possible for us to really do like as one, because to us it's not like, okay, you have one shooter and you have 2 shooter. It's more of like a team effort. And so when we're filming, like I'll use Chris as kind of like an example. I'm not necessarily looking for Chris to like duplicate me or be me. I'm just looking for him to help me get what I want to get for the day. So sometimes that means he's just moving a light around, he's spinning the rings, he's doing like assistant type stuff. Other times it means like he's operating the gimbal and he's getting like a secondary shot, or he's getting reaction shots. I'm looking for like a teammate, not just like a full-blown second shooter. And so that's the way we work. And I try to explain that to couples, because I think like 9 times out of 10, especially when they're booking us for photo video, they're like, yeah, I'd like to have 2 photographers and I'd like to have 1 video. And I actually usually talk them out of 2 photographers, and I talk them into 2 videographers, because to me, having 2 photographers is not going to make that much of a difference in the wedding. I mean, it does really help, and then they're going to have better creative shots, but they're not going to see as much of a value in their investment as they're going to see if they get 2 video people compared to 1. Because once you start talking 2 video people, you're talking like someone walking in with a gimbal. You're talking about like cool things with the lighting, like I was talking about with the rings and adding motion to the rings, the drone. Like there's just so many things that we could do with 2 people that I can't do by myself. And things always have to kind of take a back seat. So like when I'm by myself, actually an example. So I was shooting a wedding by myself one time. They were leaving this super cool church, and I wanted to get a silhouette of them walking out because it was so bright. But I also wanted to get the front shot to show their face. So I set up a camera on a tripod to get the silhouette, and then I went outside to get the front shot. Guess what happened with the back shot? There's a guy that walked right in front of the camera right when they're walking out. So all I have is that front shot. Whereas if I would have had a second shooter, they would have been manning that camera, and they'd be like, hey, dude, get out of the way. So, and same with audio. Like there's only so much I can monitor audio by myself. And sometimes I'd have to just kind of forget it, and I have to go focus on the video stuff. So the audio might just not be quite perfect like it would be if like, okay, I see Chris is manning the cameras for the speeches. I'm going to go look at the microphone real quick, and it allows for that teamwork that you can't do by yourself.
Yeah, that's really cute.
And it's kind of a social media thing too. So I used to be really big into like starting with a drone shot. But when you're talking about, posting a wedding video, I mean, you are posting it for the couple, but you're also posting it for like who might be your future client. And if the first thing they see is like a drone shot, they're going to be like, okay, like, is this a wedding video? Is this not a wedding video? And so when you open, like, say, like something like this, even though we can't really make out their faces, you're like, this is a wedding video. It was an expensive wedding. They're a very nice looking couple. Like, I'm interested. Like, let's see what this is. And so that's something you have to think about too. It's not always just about, because like in a 2-hour movie, you can get away with like doing a bunch of establishing shots at the beginning because people are going to be invested for a long time. But like a 5-minute short film, if you hit them for a minute with just like establishing shots, they're going to be like, is this like a documentary? Is this a wedding? You know, like they don't know what they're watching. So
Boy, that turned out really good, Travis. Look at that.
Gimbal's crooked.
Did you guys go
it is a little bit, and I'll have to fix that.
Yes, we did this morning, just like upstairs, all in one room. But I mean, Travis.
And that's the beauty of 4K, because if things like that happen on a wedding day and you were not paying attention to it, you can fix it. So, which I'll do right now, actually. And actually, I don't know if you guys know about this. Let me jump back here again real quick. So you can add little like lines. So if you wanted to, I need to find something that is.
Where did you find those?
So I added these buttons, but if you go right here, you can add like whatever buttons you want. So this one is, I don't know what it's actually called, show grid or show guide. And then you can also do rulers too. And you can like pull them out of the ruler. So if you want to have like multiple ones. I'm trying to, our shot was a little crooked. I don't know if it's because it's weird because it's like the lines look straight, but then the shot doesn't look totally straight. Let me find like another. Okay, there we go. I can tell now. I think it's just because we were looking up.
Yeah, but then your verticals go.
Yeah, the verticals are a little funky.
It's probably the distortion maybe from the wide.
It was. I had it like at a 17, so part of it's probably that too. Because now actually it looks almost like more crooked to me because the verticals are messed up.
That's to me too.
So we'll leave it alone for now. So let's put that back.
Oh, aren't they just so sweet? Like, that's awesome.
So then we might like put like their names or something like that, and then we would start establishing where we are. So I kind of like doing that. It's kind of like a little tease, and it'll be the first thing that they get to kind of see, because you don't know what it's actually going to be. It's like they know it's their venue, and then it's like, oh, there's us.
That's really cute.
And actually, this is a little too long.
That's perfect.
So this needs to move a little bit. So let's go find some drone. Maybe, I don't know if my hyperlapse imported in or not. Let's see. Where was that at? For some reason it got moved. Let me try to fix that. There it is.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow, yeah, that's the.
No, I don't know. Chris, does that like feel out of place for this kind of?
I feel like maybe some more stabilization will work. But
Yeah.
the hyperlapse is really jittery. So
Yeah, it is like very jittery feeling.
just the regular function will work better.
We'll try it. Yeah, we'll just. But it is cool. I wanted to throw that in there for Matt, but I don't think we're doing that today.
Go for a hyperlapse is not gonna
But it's kind of out of place in the storyline.
Yeah, and it's a very like slow moving, video. So it's kind of out of, like you were saying, it's very out of place. So we won't use that one, but we'll find like a nice.
When you found that tree line, it came up really nice and slow.
Yeah, let's see. Even just something like establishing to the buildings or something is good. Like we can, because they don't know what building we're in or anything. So just kind of showing like, okay, we're in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, one cool one that I had, they had a horse and carriage. So we followed the horse and carriage like with the drone. Pretty far away because we didn't want to spook the horse, but that was cool.
Now, being it that was a a slightly gloomy day, would you like color correct that just for like photos for this?
Yeah, and this is pretty flat too. So once like we start adding some color grade to it and stuff, it's gonna pop a little more. But in some ways, the gloominess kind of matches like what we shot because it was very dark in that room. So it kind of might work. So let's see here what we got. So we'll do like a fade in.
Since the day I
You got a little blooper there. Let's fix that. So I probably would start that a little later, maybe.
since the day I first met you and you made me laugh so effortlessly.
So we really don't need much of this. I think we could actually like just have a little bit of
Since the
that,
day I first met.
and then
Since the day I first met you.
so then let's find some prep that we want to use. So we had everything pretty much on these two cameras. So we had the close-ups on here. So we could actually probably make a scene out of here because we had her walking from both angles. And then we have this as well of her, so we can kind of put the two together. Wait, something got funky. Hold on. I think I might have accidentally hit the wrong thing. Let me go back.
Which one?
I think I accidentally copied the wrong thing. let me see if it'll pop those back in.
But you're doing so great. Like, I can't even imagine someone watching me at it. Like that would be like somebody's worst nightmare. This is so cool to watch.
Oh, I see
do
what I
it.
did. Okay, let me. So we want that shot, and then we want.
Knew you were someone special. As our love grew, you're never.
She had kind of a funny reaction there, I think.
Important encouragement to pursue.
And then maybe we can. Let's
So
grab.
instead of showing him reading it, you're just gonna.
We will show him at some point. And actually, I might show him right now just so we know that he's the one reading it. So, but before we do that, we'll show like a close up. So normally, like we'd have like a cool like letter opening type shot, but we don't have that. So we will use the close up of the phone, which he had pretty cool rings, so that works.
It's really nice.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that's
To pursue my dreams.
And I would maybe flip this just because the way it kind of cuts, but for now I'll just leave it
Here
alone.
you are, the one. I'm so looking forward to marrying my very best friend and can't wait to make a lifetime of memories, love, and laughter with you.
And then when the music changes, we'll bring him in. So we had very similar shots, but they were kind of like reverse of what we did with her. So we have the same kind of walk. But then he's on the other side. So, and actually we did some, let's see here. Oh yeah, I forgot we have this shot too. So if we wanted to,
Yeah, mirror shot.
yeah.
Awesome.
So we could actually even turn this into like 3 clips. So we could do something maybe like, let's see, where's it at?
You made me laugh.
Travis, you shoot 3 clips and you have 3 to choose from. I shoot 800.
So effortlessly. I knew you were someone
Maybe.
special.
That's amazing.
Love and laughter.
Yeah, so like even this, it was like, I mean, if it would have been a normal bride, I would have been like, can you start back
Met you
here?
and
And I want you to
you made
walk to
me
the
laugh
window.
so
And when you
effortlessly.
get to the window, pretend like you're looking out at Florida and it's like super sunny out.
I
And
knew you
that
were
it's like
someone
the
special.
greatest thing
As
ever.
our
Or
love
like
grew,
pretend
you're
you
never
see your
disappointed
spouse
in
outside. You know, like
Pursue
what
my
would you
dreams.
do? Or like even with her, I was like, pretend like your bridesmaids are laughing behind you. So like in a normal situation, I would actually maybe have the bridesmaids there and they're all making her laugh, but like we didn't have that option. So we didn't do that. So
But when you told her to do that, I mean, it was like there was a whole room full of them.
yeah, and granted they're models, so they're a little better than, you know, your average person, but even your normal bride can kind of pick up on things like that, you know, like they're going to be able to get you what you need.
And they're
Do something a little bit different. Let's see. I don't know. It might look weird because it's like he's walking to a window and then all of a sudden he's at a mirror. But
With you, Deja.
yeah.
Maybe like the transition because we saw his hands and now he was.
Yeah, so I might start him at the mirror. Maybe we don't do his walk. And so we can do like something like this. And then let me close some of these because I keep getting the wrong panel. Was that our last ring shot, Chris? Okay. See, like the 120 is kind of chugging a little bit on me here.
It'll do.
120.
I told my photographer about that. His eyes have got this big.
124K.
It's so
which
cool.
There it is.
Oh wow! Good job, Chris.
I like this trip that like on the wedding there are like 3 bands. 3 bands. It's like there's only 2 people. And 2 people.
The bride's so special. She gets 2.
It's 2, yeah. Guess they gotta be put up. Feminism coming out. Sorry.
I've been waiting for this day.
We love
This is
it.
a good
We
time.
do. We do.
We have the world down.
And it was
Let's see.
Travis's ring, so we really didn't care about things. Playing catch with it.
So what we would probably also do then is we would add some sound effect of like the clinking of it.
Oh yeah.
If we get time, you know, like it's one of those things where sometimes we run out of time, and so that's like something that has to give. But
So you already have those as like database, like in your
yeah, or even this, we might even be able to just pull. I don't know if we were talking or not.
Deja, I have been waiting for this day since I
Her hand kind of moves. It looks weird. Let me.
first saw you. When you walk in, there is a joy about you.
So maybe even here. So she says when you walk in, even though it's her walking in, we could still like use the first look because they kind of like go side and side with each other. So
Look at her with that little curve in there. You're killing me.
most brides do not do that. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind too.
Isn't that cute? Awesome gimbal work. Oh, you're just inspiring me to get better.
I kind of want to use that. Do we use
I'm gonna
that?
wipe away a tear.
I wouldn't.
Also, I got makeup on.
I wouldn't.
So I'm just kind of dropping it all in here and then I'm pretty it up as we're going here.
A beauty so striking that your smile lights up the whole room. When I look into your eyes, I can see our future.
I'm gonna. His face is a little goofy there, so I'm gonna maybe do that a little.
He's
later.
having second thoughts.
Yeah, that's what it kind of looked like.
When I look into your eyes, I can see our future.
So that's why I was kind of talking about like skipping ahead in time too. Like she's way
When I
back
look into
there,
your
but
eyes, I can
you don't
see
really
our
know
future
that she's way
family.
back there.
You
So
are
you can kind of get away with it a little more.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that.
So then.
And I can't wait for you to be my wife. I can't be my wife.
So I'm just looking for that point where she taps him, which I think she might have used 2 different. Oh no, she used the same hand. She's good. She got it down.
See you at the altar. Oh, that's so sweet.
So maybe actually what I might do, because she had a really fun reaction, and I think we had a close-up of it. So maybe we'll come back to her. Let's see.
Her meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Okay, so
Future family, you are my home, and I can't wait for you to be my wife. See you at the altar.
and then get rid of this one so we don't hear that.
See you at the altar. Oh, that's so sweet.
It's not perfect, but we can finalize a little more. And then this would be, it's kind of a nice moment because the music kind of calms down. And do we have his audio? Let me grab his audio because he says, I think he responds to her. So that's why I was kind of talking about, like, that's why I try to mic up all these like special moments because you never know like what they're going to give you. Like he might not say a word, or he'll be like, or she'll say something awkward like, oh, your jacket is too tight or something, you know, and it's like, all right, well, we're not going to use that. But a lot of times we get good stuff, especially when we're working with models, where we could kind of tell them what to say. So
Yeah. What did you pay for?
oh yeah, I told him to say that too. I was like, you should tell her, you should be like, what did you pay for that dress?
Oh my god, they would think something like
Yeah.
that.
What did you pay for?
I almost want to use that. I don't know, but that would be pretty funny. I don't think we need the "you look amazing" because that one sounded more like sarcastic. So we'll use that. But maybe we can find a way to throw in that other one just because it's kind of funny.
Oh my god.
Did we have a wide too? Because I would probably cut like a. Oh yeah, we don't see his face, so we could really use whatever we want because we don't actually know what he's doing. So we could start it like right here, and then he's about to twirl her.
Yeah.
So then we could cut to the "what did you pay for that?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
Okay, we don't need his yeah. Let's see.
Yeah.
But we do want his hand up, so I might just cut that out. Oop.
Wait, you can unsync them, the audio.
Yeah, so I could just shrink the audio but keep all the video there.
What did you pay for?
This isn't for a real client, so we can do whatever we want. So there's like our kind of like break where we'll have like an establishing shot, and I have some more. I don't think they're on the card, so I need to. Let's see what you got us, Chris, because we're gonna use your establishing shots. I think it's okay. There is a light in there, but no one will know. And are we? Do you remember, Chris, the gimbal shot? Did that even really work? Because I think we're all in it, right? Good behind the scenes for me. Yeah, I was like, that's probably not going to actually work out because we can't hide behind anything, but it's all right. So then we'll get. That would be great. We have like kind of two things to cut through. So there's her walking. Here's his reaction. I love it.
It's just enough where everybody's not.
Oh yeah, this is when all those people started coming in, wasn't it? I love it. So then she's still walking, and he's seeing. We'll roll with it. It's not the best reaction I've ever seen, but okay. So then, yeah, the silhouette. We'll figure out how we want to do that. So I did 2 angles of that as well. So I know you weren't there, but essentially what we did is we did like a wide and a tight, and then we actually turned the light on and then turned it off, so it like turns into that shot. So I would like to call this natural light photographer, professional photographer. Okay, so let's see what we have, and then we'll start filling in some extra sound and stuff.
Did you say
It kind of opens how it closes too, which is nice. Like, it's different shot and stuff, but
Since the day I first met you and you made me laugh so effortlessly, I knew you were someone special. As our love grew, your never-ending support and
man, I wish I had cool rings like that. I could never pull off that look. Like, I'm kind of jealous of him. I'm like, I never would be able to look that cool.
Deja, I have been waiting for this
This was
day
for Chris
since I
because he didn't
first
believe me
saw
that
you.
I'd wear it.
When you walk in, there is a joy about you, a beauty so striking
So yeah, we obviously need to
that your
mix the
smile
audio.
lights up the whole room. When I look into your eyes, I can see our future family. You are my home, and I can't wait for you to be my wife. See you at the altar. Oh, so sweet.
It's funny, but
Oh my god. What did you pay for?
That's perfect. That's the personalities, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
For exchanging those vows, I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Maybe a little applause. Applause. Oh.
Yeah, it's like kind of weird because it's like quiet. We could do that. We could throw in a little bit of, but I guess like in a way though, the viewer knows that it's empty, and I think it's okay because
Yeah.
I mean that we did do a lot of those kind of things. So then we'll usually throw our logo in. No, we don't need that in there though. But that sound. And then let's go and we'll clean up. We'll clean up the video real quick a little bit. So let me move this. So I throw an adjustment layer over for the grade. So this is like the look of the film. It's not so much correcting the footage. It's just getting like the look that we want. And I have one that I made. So I just kind of use that every time. And then I'll have to tweak it here or there, mattering on the wedding. So let's go to... are you guys familiar with like scopes and stuff and like histograms? So I like to have these up while I'm color correcting just to make sure, because you can eyeball the footage, but especially like for you guys looking on that monitor is not very color calibrated and stuff. And so it's nice to just have something up that's kind of telling me my levels so I know if it might be a little underexposed. Now, obviously, where's that shot at? This is going to be underexposed, but it's like intentionally underexposed, but it's like consistent, like the histogram. Now, like if none of that red and yellow was there and it was all down at the bottom right here, then I would definitely, there's like something probably wrong with the image that I need to fix. It's weird how that one got so much more color. Maybe we didn't have that camera on the same picture profile while we were shooting. I don't know what happened there, but we'll fix that. So let's find like a nice shot for a sample, one that like maybe had a little bit of, like this one might be like a good one to reference. So I'm gonna throw on. So I have my color stuff right here. I go to the creative one, and then I'm gonna browse for my look. I just keep this like in a Dropbox, so I always can get to it. Where is it? Maybe I don't have it on my laptop. If not, I can kind of make it up real quick. I think that's kind of it. Yeah, actually, there's not much.
Became kind of much warmer.
Yeah. So this was before. This is like with the look on it. And then I might do a little bit of tweaking. So these are Luts. I have one that's kind of based off of this one. I don't think I have it with me, but they're basically like color profiles that give it a certain look. So we have one that we use like for every wedding, but then I'll tweak it a little bit as needed. So like if say it's like a very rustic film, I might give it kind of like a greener look, or like this one, I want it to look more contrasty because it was like a contrasty type of wedding, like with these like shadows and lights. But then sometimes a wedding film might be outside and it's more of like a light and airy look. So you could either find presets online like Luts to use, or you could kind of make your own. So what I also do, not only like would I apply the Lut, but then I might add a little bit of like sharpening if it needs to, like, you know, like little other things. Like if it's not enough color, I might add some more color to the shot. Oop, that's the wrong way. And make sure like everything is looking good. But then what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to tweak kind of each clip that needs it. So we were talking, it's actually kind of good that we mess this up because I can kind of use it as an example now. So as you see, like this one has less saturation to it. Like it's kind of yellow. It's not really orange. But then you look at this one and it's like super orange. And that could have been, we might have had the wrong profile. Maybe our white balances were a little different, or like it could have even just been the lens. Like that one's the zoom lens with the 7200, which is a way nicer lens than, you know, the Tamron that we're using. So it might just need to be matched. So what I would do is go in here, see if this is enough, and if not, I could actually start picking that color and start adjusting just that color. So I can go to here in hue and saturation, and I can pinpoint that color, which is like in the reds and the oranges, and then I can kind of like boost just that color. So then that way, like I'm not affecting the whole image. So my reds are probably still going to be about the same, but now my oranges are like a lot more colorful. Close enough for this. So turn this back up. There is a thing called auto ducking. Chris, have you used that much? So there's a thing you can put on your music, and it will somehow like know where the dialogue is, and it'll auto turn down your music and then bring it back up. I haven't found it to be great, so I don't use it. But if you're doing like a quick project, like I think it could get the job done for certain things. Like if it was, say, just constant music with constant voiceover, like it would work for something like that. But when it starts getting complex with this, and we have sound effects and stuff, it's not sure like what it should be ducking for sometimes.
Deja, I have been waiting for this day since I first.
So let's turn this down.
Deja, I have been waiting for this day since I first saw you. When you walk in, there is a joy about you, a beauty so striking that your smile lights up the whole room. When I look into your eyes, I can see our future family. You are my home, and I can't wait for you to be my wife. See you at the altar. Oh, so sweet. See you at the altar. Oh, so sweet.
Oh my god.
Let me see. Maybe I will have some music.
Oh my god. You look amazing.
No, never mind. That doesn't sync up. Okay. Right here, you're saying? Oh yeah, thanks. I was gonna do that, and I totally missed that part. Let me see if it. Yeah. I might try a fade. I don't know if it's necessary. It does feel. Yeah, we'll worry.
For exchanging those vows, I now pronounce you husband and wife.
We have better audio of hers too, but I don't want to go look for it. So we're gonna just use this for now. So
Husband and wife.
the only other thing I didn't do, but I don't know if there's any shots that like really need it, is warp stabilization, which it basically like smooths out the footage. But I think everything's pretty solid. That I don't think we need to do that. But let me see.
And wife.
I'll throw it on this one just to see if it looks a little smoother. But the shot overall, I think, was fine. So we'll have to do its thing. There's not many other areas for sound. I would maybe add like city sounds, which we could throw in real quick if you guys want, just so you can see like sound stripe. And then I'll start rendering it, and then as it's rendering, I can show you guys that code for the playbooks, because I almost forgot about that. Also, if you guys are interested, I don't know, I'm gonna have to text to see if we're still doing this. I talked to one of the models, and we thought about doing like a fitness video with him. So we're actually, if we do that, we're gonna do that right after this. So if you guys wanted to come with, you're more than welcome to join. So we might put you to work though for working out. So we might need extra models. So no, I'm kidding. But he was gonna see if there's more that want to come. Plus, I think there might be some other photographers and stuff that want to go too. So. I think the warp actually helped a little bit. Let's see.
Changed it.
So that is just the quality. Like it's kind of missing back. Yeah, I think it's all there. Sometimes warp can get like funky and it will make things look like jello. Like it gives us like jello look. So you got to kind of watch for that when you're using it. So let's find some city sounds real quick and then we'll call it a day. So I'm going to pull up Soundstripes. I do have a coupon code for Soundstripe too. So I'll pull that up for you guys too. So you can, if you want to use that or not. City, let's see what I might not be in sound effects. So it's nice because this is just inside of Premiere, so I don't have to worry about like going to their website and finding the stuff. That's probably good. Definitely don't need that much.
Since the day I first met you and you made.
So let me get a little more city sound. Sounds a little too close. Let's try that one. What should we make their names? Should we use their actual name? Maybe we shouldn't use their actual names. That's actually bad. We could just call it ClickCon Wedding or something.
Yeah, okay. ClickCon mock wedding.
Since the day I first met you and you made me laugh so effortlessly.
Okay, let's just get some text. And Premiere's really like stepped up their text stuff too. Like you can actually get like really nice animation inside of Premiere where you don't have to do it inside of After Effects, which is really nice. And it used to be like the worst to use. It was like so hard to use. There, good enough. And then let me get my text here. So like all this stuff used to be like super cumbersome to use, and they've made it like way easier than it used to be. Let me get. Does that look straight? I'm kind of just throwing it in there real quick. So
Where did you open and get that? Because I've never seen that in Premiere.
this,
Yeah.
you go to the plus button, you can add all these things.
It used to be like, I remember I took one like production class, and they had a really confusing version of the title in Premiere. But when we downloaded it, it was like, oh, that doesn't exist.
It works. All right, cool. So please don't tell any of my couples I did this because they're gonna be like, well, where's my wedding? Why are you working on these weddings instead of mine?
Nope, your secret's safe with us.
So I'll go over exporting real quick. So I have a preset already made. So since we're doing these black bars, I like to chop those off. So I have this made. So I actually, this isn't quite right. Hold on one second. 1920. Okay, so because I do the black bars, it's not actually 1920 by 1080, it's 1920 by 816. So to get that, you have to type it in here, and then you just have to crop like kind of the black bars out. You don't have to like render this way. I do it because it makes it look a little more cinematic, and with weddings, it's nice because you can sometimes hide things with those black bars that might have gotten your shot that you didn't want. So that's how I'll do it. But otherwise, I would just normally do like 1920 by 1080, unless we're doing like 4K or something. I click the render at maximum depth. It makes it take a little longer to render, but it just gives you like a cleaner quality. Like even though it's being compressed, it just looks cleaner. I do CBR, and I'm just scrolling through the things that I changed. So if there's anything else that's in here, it means I don't touch it. I do, for the bitrate, I do CBR and 40 megabytes per second. And then the only other thing I click is use maximum render quality. And of course, you want to make sure use proxies is turned off. And then I'll export, and it will export. 2 minutes, not bad. It's pretty good for this computer. So then let me hop over here real quick so you guys have this stuff before we kind of wrap up here. So I didn't really go over the preparing stuff, but I think that's fine because I think you guys were kind of more interested in the editing itself as opposed to like setting up the projector and stuff. So scan that if you guys want a playbook, or type in the link or save it, for yourselves. If you fill that out, they will probably send you emails that kind of comes with it, but you guys will be able to get your own playbook from Photo Flash Drive. And then I will also, let me know when everyone has that, and then I'll get you the QR codes for Soundstripe. And I have one for 17 Hats too, which is the CRM I use. So I will switch over there too. And then here is these. So like I said, Photo Flash Drive, they're the ones that sponsored me. They also have a coupon code for me. So if you guys want to try out any of their other stuff, you can use WCP15 when you check out. And pretty much it works on anything. So like these water bottles are from them. This thing is from them. I use them for not just like my deliverables, but I use them for all my gifts and stuff too. So sometimes I'll gift other wedding vendors or different other people. And then Soundstripe, that was the music platform that I use. I also use them for my sound effects. They have a lot of choices. If I need something more specific, I'll use MusicBed, but MusicBed's not cool enough to give me a coupon code, so I don't have them on here. So they're not here. But I do have Soundstripe, and I love how Soundstripe works with Premiere. And then 17 Hats is my CRM. So as you guys are like growing in your business, if you're looking for a way to organize more and like have a software that sends your quotes and your invoices and contracts, that's the one I use, and it works really well. And both of those, if you go there, I don't get anything out of it. It's just they gave me like a little like thing to share, so people, because I'm talking about it, so people can get a slight discount. And this is all my information. So that's my personal Instagram, my wedding Instagram, and then my commercial work Instagram. And then we did start doing a podcast this year, but I had to kind of take a break because we got really busy. But that's how you can go find that too. And actually, I interviewed Brian, who owns Photo Flash Drive, and he talked about gifts. So if you guys want to learn a bit more about their products, we also did one with like a financial advisor. I actually did one with Josh Russell, actually, who's here, and I've done one with Matt Sutherland. We did one on live streaming. So a whole bunch of content there. We're going to do more eventually, but right now I've been pretty busy, so I haven't been able to do any more. And yeah, I'll go back here in case if you want to get one of these too, feel free, Jay. Like if you wanted to get a playbook, yeah, just take a picture of the QR code and just fill out the thing, and then you can make one of your own. because you were in my other class, right? That one was different. So that one was just like some random gift. I actually don't even know what it is. So that was just a gift. Coupon code's still the same. This one was just for this class because we knew it was very video focused, and they didn't want to give out like a ton of these. And that we figured this would be the smaller class because it's more niche. So yeah, that was why they just shared it for this one. So I don't know how long it lasts for. I think it's like you got to fill it out before the show's over. Otherwise, I don't think that link will work anymore. So just a heads up on that. But you can use it anytime. You just need to sign up for it before the show ends. But yeah, do you guys have any other questions? No, that doesn't matter. So it's not actually connected to ClickCon. They just have it expiring when ClickCon ends. So
Any like inspirational words of, I mean, just get kind of.
I'm pretty exhausted. Actually, I don't even know what to say.
Same. You say, I mean, it's a lot. Like, Chris, way to go. I mean, that's just like that.
Oh yeah, Jay. Do you want to see what we finished? We actually finished the edit. So.
It's pretty awesome.
You're gonna put that up anywhere?
I'll see if Sherry wants to put it somewhere because I think it'd be kind of cool. I'm gonna share it with the couple.
Was it like a group effort thing, or was it just like all your
I think it was we worked on it together a little bit.
Let's see.
And he made the majority of the calls, but we had just little suggestions here or there or questions. Actually, it was questions mostly.
And he and Chris did all the shooting.
We did mostly
Oh, look at it.
We could think of the title, so.
Since the day I first met you and you made me laugh so effortlessly, I knew you were someone special. As our love grew, your never-ending support and encouragement to pursue my dreams made it clear you are the one. I am so looking forward to marrying my very best friend and can't wait to make a lifetime of memories, love, and laughter with you, Deja.
Deja, I have been waiting for this day since I first saw you. When you walk in, there is a joy about you, a beauty so striking that your smile lights up the whole room. When I look into your eyes, I can see our future family. You are my home, and I can't wait for you to be my wife. See you at the altar. Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh my God! What did you pay for?
So you actually like that's what he was saying.
Yeah, that was what he actually said.
Exchanging those vows, I now pronounce you husband and wife.